So we've talked a little bit about how you can make variations on your letters in order to enhance your style and add some creativity to your lettering. So again, I would recommend that you go over all the basic strokes and learn the alphabet and then move into the variations. Also, these are just starting points. Some ideas for you, but the possibilities are endless. You can do anything that you can imagine with these. As long as your lettering is legible. That's the only call out I have for you, is sometimes I see lettering that's so flourished that you really can't even read it. So it's meant to enhance your lettering, not to destroy it. So the descending stem loop is a big one that's really fun to play with. So here are a couple examples, and again, the purpose of this is just to see someone else doing it for you, so that you can do it on your own. So just remember the thicks and the thins. So our typical descending stem loop just comes down like this, up thin, and exits in an entrance or exit stroke. Here are some variations. So you can come down the same way, come up and come towards the left a little more than normal to make another loop, and then exit out. This one, you'll notice, instead of coming up to this point right here, it's only about halfway between your descending line and your base line, and comes out in a thin line like that. So if you were doing this, I would recommend doing this one on the end of a line, because your next letter wouldn't have anywhere to start. This one's fun. It just kind of comes up, looks normal at first, but instead of exiting out this way, it comes down and around inside. The ascending stem loop, well, so let me give you an example of like a one where you could use that. So like a G, you could do something fun like that. Or happy is a good word. I'll write happy next, because now we have some lead-ins for the ascending stem loop. So typically you would just start right at the top of your X height, go up and come down. Here's a couple ideas. Rather than doing your entrance stroke like that, you could do a little bit of a curve to it, or even start up here. This one's fun. So you want to start this one at the top right here, and go down this way, then come back up and go down to the right and around. It would be really hard to try to do it starting here because you're going backwards, and you definitely cannot start at the bottom and go up. So that's why I break it down into 2 strokes. So for happy, we have both a, actually, you know what? Happy also has P's in it, so let's do P next. That's the P that we learned with our alphabet. Here are 2 variations. So the first is, start with your entrance stroke, go down like you normally would, and then rather than starting right here with that underturn, you kind of make a really thin parallel line to your downstroke, do your overturn, and then curl in and go up like that. This one's similar with this section of it, but instead of doing this down in the parallel line, you'll go down and do a loop, almost like your descending stem loop. And then same thing, looping up. So let's write happy. So I'll be using a ascending stem loop, descending stem loop, and P variations on the word happy. Notice I'm lifting between every stroke. Let's do... So that's how you can add these into your lettering. Next, let's do R. Here's the R I showed you before. One variation is, instead of making this part a down stroke that's filled in, you could go up and make that a loop and end it as normal with an underturn. You can make that loop even bigger. This one's a little bit fancy. It's a little tricky, but you start with your overturn, like how you would for the letter M or N. You draw a line going up as if you were starting another overturn, but instead you add a mini underturn right here. So that one's a little more elegant and fancy. T, the variations for T are with the crossbar, so you'll do your normal T. Here's a wavy one. I would always recommend keeping it thin rather than thick. I've seen people cross the T pretty high up to make it look a little elegant or unique. And then one of my favorites is instead of if you were doing a TH like the, and instead of doing your T like this and then starting an H next to it, you can cross your T and connect it with your sender of your H. So kind of like these up here, where we have variations of the ascending stem loop, this one's just connecting it to the T and ending as normal. And then S. You can do S, really there's a lot of variations on S. This is the one I showed you originally where it's just an entrance stroke and draw an S as you normally would write with your thick going down. Here's one where you start the S a little higher with a thick downstroke, then come around and back up. This one's a little unique. It starts similar to this one with a thick downstroke, but then you come out like that rather than just going down smoothly. You come out a little, round it out, bring it in, and draw a dot here, and then exit stroke. Now this one's kind of a mix between this one and that R, where you have an entrance and then you have a loop here rather than a filled in loop. It comes down thick as always and exits the same as these two with a loop. So you can play around with these as much as you want. I would say that the descending and ascending loops have the most potential, but it's all up to you. The possibilities are endless. And again, I want to reiterate that the point is to make your lettering more interesting and have some flair, not to take away from the legibility of it. So we would love to see what you come up with for your variations on the alphabet.